As many of you already know, I love the first game, and if you want to go check out that review for the first Horizon game, I'll leave a link in the description for the first review on there. It should be on there, hopefully. But anyways, after I played the first one, I could not wait for the second one that was eventually announced, and I've got to say, I am happy with what we actually got. First, I'll say, the game looks stunning. They put so much effort into the environment, and I have to give it to the team at Guerrilla Studios for bringing this new map to life. It looks absolutely fantastic. There's a bunch of different detail, a bunch of different environments for you to explore, tons of new machines for you to fight, and I love the detail that they really put in to make this game feel alive. But I do have to say, at launch, there were some problems here and there, such as frame rate issues here and there. Sometimes I got stuck in corners, or I get stuck in different platforms. So you notice that sometimes the machines don't act the way that you think they should, and just some other kinks here and there. But the game was completely playable at launch, and it is completely playable now. Even though some parts do carry over, like audio issues. Sometimes you really don't hear audio for some reason, or you think that music should be playing at this point, but then it doesn't. But it's just small stuff here and there that wasn't enough for me to feel interrupted in my experience. And I really have to say, I love the game through and through overall. So in this game, we once again get to play as Aloy, and this time around she has to fix Gaia, which is the network that Elizabeth Silva created back in the first game in order to fix the Earth. And now, since after the events of the first game, it's up to Aloy to put the pieces back together and fix Gaia before the Earth eventually destroys itself. Now let's first talk about gameplay, and I think this is where the game shines the most, because gameplay was massively improved this time around, because especially on movement, because if in the first review I mentioned that movement does feel a little stiff at times, but in this one they massively improved it, and it feels way better for you to traverse the levels, and it feels way better during combat. And another thing about combat is that they added more elements for the spear, because in the first game the spear was really limited to just strong and light attacks and only for hacking, but there wasn't really much for you to experiment with your spear. And in this one, there's a lot more options for you to use. There's a bunch of different combos, there's a bunch of different abilities you can use with the spear, and I really do like how they incorporated more hand-to-hand stuff. And since in this one we do deal with humans more often, so I really do like how they added more melee aspects to the game instead of just doing pure shooting arrows and using your weapons. And there's a bunch of different challenges catered to having your spear, just as one-on-ones with different marshals, with different enemies, other different challenges for you to try out with your spear. You can do different combos, as I mentioned before, and there's a bunch of different stuff added just for melee, and I have to say, it does feel better. I feel like they could improve more on it, but maybe in the next game they'll probably improve on it. But from what we got, I do like the massive improvement. And for the archery, it's as smooth as ever. It even feels even smoother this time around. It feels way better for you to precision aim and all that kind of stuff. There's a bunch of different weapons for you to use, old and new, and there is actually 2 different ammo types that are added from the original ones, which is plasma and adhesive. And plasma is like a charged bomb where you shoot it at an enemy and then you eventually charge it up and it does a secondary explosion. And then for adhesive, it sounds like what adhesive is, to stick stuff to the ground, and that's exactly what it does, and it stops enemies in their tracks. And I really do like these new ammo types because it adds a little bit more to the mix in terms of your arsenal of weapons from the vast array of weapons that you can go find and use. And I like how you can actually add 2 more weapons for this, because I think it was 4 or 5 you can use in your weapon wheel, but I think you can add more weapons to your weapon wheel, so it's easier for you to set up your arsenal instead of going to the menu and then switching out. And another aspect of gameplay that's actually new is I call them ultimates because that's basically what they are, but they're hidden abilities in your skill trees that you can use to augment Aloy. There's one where you can use a freaking shockwave that does massive damage and stuns enemies. There's another one that creates a cloak for you and you turn invisible. There's another one where it makes your elemental ammo more effective. There's another one where you can shoot faster, it does more damage. There's one where you can do chain attacks with your arrows and it does mini explosions. There's a ton of different ultimates for you to use in this game, and the only problem I really have with these is that it's kind of hard for you to switch between them because you can only equip one at a time, and it's kind of hard for you to switch between them on the fly. And I feel like they should have added something for you to really try to switch with them faster, because the only way for you to really go between them is to go through your menu, go to your skill tree, equip the one that you want, and then you'll be able to use that one for the duration of the time you want to use it for. instead of having a quick thing where you can switch between them faster. That's really the only complaint I really have. And they added a stamina feature where each weapon has a characteristic that they can use. Like in the first game, you could shoot 3 arrows, but that's, you can shoot it whenever you want. And this one is stamina, where you can shoot 3 arrows or do a focus shot, or every single weapon has their catered characteristics and different abilities they can use with them. And the weave system returns in this, and they're little charms for you to use to augment your weapons and your armor to give you specific boosts in certain aspects. And I really do like the weave system here, because it feels a bit more RPG-ish, because there's different armors catered for different playstyles, different weaves catered for different playstyles. There's different armors for stealth, for more offensive. You can really mix and match weaves and armors in order for you to play in the way you want. And I really do like that aspect of this game, where you can really experiment with the gameplay and play the way you want. Sometimes it does take away that aspect of freedom, because there's certain sections where you're just forced into a fight, unless maybe you wanted to do like a stealth route, but you're forced into more offensive. But for majority of the game, you can really play the way you want. So I really do appreciate the massive development of the gameplay, because they really do feel like the gameplay is just a 10 out of 10 on its own, and I loved it the whole way through, just playing and hunting down machines and just going out of your way to look for specific parts to upgrade your armor, because you can upgrade your armor and your weapons again in this game. So you can really go out of your way to hunt harder machines in order to make your armor better and improve your stats, because I played the game on very hard, and I'd say if you want more of an authentic experience, or you want it to be more challenging, I recommend you play on the hardest difficulty, very hard, or your first playthrough, because I really do feel the threat of the machines, and I loved it the whole way through, even though at times I really did feel like I hit a wall sometimes in terms of skill. But eventually when you get past it, it feels, you just feel so accomplished on figuring out how to take down certain machines. There's a ton of different stuff for you to do this time around. The hunting grounds return, where you can test your skills in specific challenges. There's a board game called Strike that's like chess. I thought it was actually pretty fun, because it's like a new game that they invented for this game, and you can go around the world collecting pieces from different shopkeepers, because every single machine piece that you have is catered for a specific playstyle or a specific board. So you can really go out of your way to look for different pieces to cater to different boards, because every machine piece is not catered for a specific board for a specific person that you have to beat. So you can really just have fun with it and go around collecting different pieces, and really just, it's really more of a downtime thing. If you're tired of hunting machines, you can play a little board game. And there's other things, as I mentioned before. There are the training grounds, where you can fight marshals one-on-one with your bow and arrow and your spear, but you only get 20 arrows, so you really have to rely on your melee, and it helps you improve in your melee, which I thought was really good. There's a bunch of different side missions for you to do. There's a bunch of different secrets for you to find, like relic ruins, and you might recognize some of the ruins. There's specific places in Las Vegas, San Francisco, stuff like that. And there's a bunch of different secrets for you to find around, like these recordings of like this special op group called the 10. They're basically like an Air Force secret agent kind of thing. There's metal flowers that help you get rewards. There's a bunch of different stuff for you to do this time around, and collect and go around the map and go at your leisure, because the map is massive this time around. I feel like it's way bigger than the first game, and I loved how massive it was, because you really can go explore everything. And I really do recommend you explore, because you get a bunch of stuff for you just exploring at your own pace. And I really do like how this game, you can really just explore at your own pace and play the game at your own pace. And as I mentioned before, there's a ton of side missions this time around, and I really do like the side missions this time, because it feels more engaging this time around, because you really do feel like some of these side missions actually make a difference in the world, because there's certain side missions where it affects the world entirely. Like there's a one specifically in Plainsong, where if you fix the machines that take care of the agriculture, it actually helps Plainsong to be beautiful again. Because really throughout the most of the game, it's kind of a shithole. Everything's dead. There's nothing really beautiful about it. But if you do the side mission, over time you see it just change. And I really do like how some of these side missions really do feel like you're making a difference. And I really do wish that more games really try to incorporate this aspect, because I really do feel accomplished when I do something and the world reflects my actions. And just voice acting overall in this game is way improved, especially like the face animations and the performances from the characters. Because in the first game I mentioned, the voice acting and the face animations kind of felt stale, and I really do appreciate them going the extra mile for it to feel more authentic. You are more engaged in what they're saying, especially during cutscenes. I'm so glad that they didn't do like the Fallout shit where like they're going back and forth in their fucking faces and it feels so awkward talking between them. There's some of that here still, but more often the cameras spread out. You can see both of the characters talking. Sometimes they have close-ups, and I really do appreciate that this shift, because I really do feel like that format is kind of awkward, but that's just me. To me, that format of just switching between characters and seeing their faces when they're talking, you switch one and then you go to another one, it just feels super awkward for me. And then for this, I really do appreciate them changing that element. And also the music in this game is fantastic. I really do like when games really do put a lot of effort into their music, because to me music is important in games. It helps the people engage in it, it gives it more feeling, it gives it more meaning, and I really do like the soundtrack here. I thought it was fantastic, especially the songs that play at the end of the game, in the middle of the game, just throughout the whole game. I thought the soundtrack was great. You really do feel immersed, you really do feel the ambience of the locations, especially it feels more intense when you're doing boss fights and things like that. I really do appreciate when gaming studios really focus on music, and I really think that they nailed it on the music. Now let's talk about story, because this is probably one of the bigger aspects of the game. I really do like how this one's a little bit more focused on the story, because in the first one I kind of felt that they really didn't focus too much on it, but it was still pretty interesting in the first game. And here it does feel more focused, and I have to say it's kind of a mixed bag for me if I like it or not, because there are some aspects that I really do like about it, and then there's some that I really feel like it wasn't necessary, or I feel like it wasn't really done well. But I do like the new characters, even though some of them are kind of annoying. But overall, I enjoyed the story, even though a lot of the time I felt like they were taking too long to set up something, or they're taking too long to really push forward into the story, because there's a lot of the time it goes sideways into certain things, but everything kind of has its purpose, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's good. So overall, I did enjoy the story, even though I felt that some parts were lacking, especially for me the ending for me was kind of lacking in certain aspects. But overall, I did enjoy the story, especially Aloy's transformation. I really do like Aloy's character development here. So you really see her start to change over time from being like a lone wolf, and really going out of her way to seek for help and really band everyone together in order to fix the earth, because she's against great odds and she can't do this on her own. So I really do like how Aloy is slowly changing as the story progresses, and I really do like seeing that. But now it is time for me to give the final verdict for Horizon Forbidden West. This game is special to me, especially the first one. I love the first one, and I have to say these two are probably my favorite games that I've ever played, and they will always have a special place in my heart. And I have to say, if you really want to go try this out, or if you're not encouraged to try this out, I say go try it out. Go experience it, because it really is something special. I personally think that this is something special for you to try out if you're ever in the mood to play a somewhat challenging game. From the gameplay, which was just amazing on its own, and it's even though the story to me was a little lacking, but overall I enjoyed the game, and I really do recommend you try it out. So my final verdict for Horizon Forbidden West is an 8 out of 10. I know I rated it lower than the first one, but for me, I kind of really set my expectations probably too high for this game, and I really did feel underwhelmed at certain points. But overall, it was just a fantastic experience. I have over 90 hours into this game, and there's just a bunch of content for you to do and a bunch of secrets for you to unlock. So I definitely recommend you go trying this out. If you want to go play this game, it's only a PlayStation exclusive right now, so if you're gonna buy it, buy the PS4 version to get the PS5 upgrade. You'll save yourself some money. Or if you want, since like the new PlayStation Plus service came out, you can try the demo for free. If you don't want to spend money to buy the game, just buy the subscription and you can try it for free and see if you want to play it that way. But I really do recommend you trying this out, because it is something special, especially for me. But thank you guys for listening. Let me know in the comments if you guys want me to do these more compact, because this is really shorter than what I usually make them. But if you want to like this change, let me know in the comments. I'm also slowly starting to stream again, so I'll leave that in the description, and I'll leave some links to some of my friends' content as well. But anyways, thank you so much for listening and or watching, depending on where you're watching this. But thank you so much, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.